Airs, be quiet. Yes, sir, man. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Your boy Big fucking Ways is back in the building, man. Hey, listen, did y'all miss me, man? Listen, I know y'all been missing the content, but look, shit been hectic right now, man. I'm not even gonna cap. It's been motherfucking crazy. Look, it's the end of the year. School getting out, man. Graduations, man. I got 100 nieces, got 100 nephews. I got this, that, and the third going on. Your boy has been busy. Work been kicking my ass. Life been kicking my ass, man. It's been so much shit going on with your boy, man. Y'all already know. So apologize, guys, for not being able to go live, man, this week. But shit is starting to smooth out, right? Shit is starting to get back to where it need to be. Shit is starting to get easy for your boy, man. So I'm about to be bringing that fire content to y'all like y'all always know, man. Today, we got a hell of a motherfucking topic to talk about today because this is something that I stand on. This is something that I believe should most definitely be happening, right? And I want to know what y'all thought is, man, about that, man. Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the title of this shit. We in it, man. Midday fucking madness is in the mix with your boy Big Waves in the building, man. Hey, shout out to all the supporters, man. Also in the community channel. If you guys have not checked out the community section, make sure you guys go check out the community section right now. In the community section of the channel, the Madden 24 cover has dropped. Madden 24 cover has dropped, and it's featuring your boy Josh Allen on the cover. Now, do some people think he deserves to be on there? Some people saying that he don't deserve to be on there. I want to know what get y'all thoughts on it. But that game will be streamed on Tsunami Gaming, which will be dropping here in July. Stay tuned because we're gonna be talking a lot of shit, man. Y'all go see, man. I got the sticks skills. I am nice when it comes to Madden, bro, on that PS5. So I just want to let y'all know that I'm pulling up for the smoke, man. We will be playing for games, be playing for money. Y'all already know what time it is. Panthers super fan, listen, I know you miss your boy. Life has been so fucking crazy, man. Y'all don't understand. Your boy has been busy. He been tied up. It's the end of the school year. Kids getting out of school. Football, man, is going crazy, man. We just finished up our spring season, getting ramped up, man, for the fall season. Y'all already know we're going to try to bring another trophy, man, for your boy Trophy Case. What else we got going on, man? Life, everything just being fucking on 10. That's why your boy have not been able to pop on here. He has not really been able to pop on here and give y'all that content like y'all been wanting that content because life has just been pulling your boy in so many damn different directions. Hey, but y'all see the fucking thumbnail and we go talk about it today. The Carolina Panthers, right? They got a couple decisions, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get into my open soliloquy, man. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with the channel, man. Y'all already know Midday Madness in the mix. Tomorrow, we got another episode, special episode of Waves Meets, man. Uncle Quan gonna be in the building, man. Upcoming Panther YouTube channel, YouTube content creator. He will be joining me for a special edition of Midday Madness tomorrow, man. And we're gonna be talking about it, man. But this topic that we're talking about today is a big one, man. And listen, it makes sense. It makes sense, and I'm going to tell you why it makes sense, right? Brian Burns. Brian Burns. We all know the production he's given his football team. We know what he's been able to do for the Panthers over the last couple of years. He's gotten better. I think last year was the first year that he reached double digit sacks. And what does that mean for Carolina? Well, we owe him a lot of money. Brian Burns is probably going to want to be paid like the top defensive end in the NFL. That's probably what he's going to want to be paid as the top defensive end in the NFL. His contract is probably going to be on the range of 20 to 23 million per year, something like that. Now, especially if Nick Bosa, who's also up for a contract, if he's able to get his contract done before Brian Burns, that means that the price for Brian Burns is going to go extremely up, right? It's going to go up even further. Now, with the team currently in the Carolina Panthers situation, like you guys know, we're in a situation now that we are pretty much rebuilding, right? First year coach. Yeah, we got some retooling. It's like a retool rebuild. We got a new young rookie quarterback. We got a new head coach, new coaching staff, all of that shit going on. We are at a point in time right now that we are building up for the future to make a run so that we can be a Super Bowl caliber team here coming in the next couple of years. So, with that being said, does it make sense to tie Brian Burns and lock him down to a multi-year deal that's going to be a 21 to 23 million dollars a year? We don't have a first round pick next year. We really have gave up a lot of draft assets to get the number one overall pick in this draft to draft Bryce Young. Trade Brian Burns. For Brian Burns right now, the Carolina Panthers can get a first round pick, multiple seconds, potentially multiple thirds, but the haul for Brian Burns right now would be crazy. So not only are you saving the money that you would get because you're going to have to spend the money on his contract, you're saving the money, but you're getting a haul of draft capital back for Brian Burns. Right now, the Chicago Bears would be willing to give up a first round pick for a premier defensive end. The Chicago Bears, it was reported out there earlier this week that the Chicago Bears would give up a first round pick, several future selections to get a premier defensive end. Why pay Brian Burns big money when we can go ahead and trade him for a king's ransom? Really think about it. Shout out to Marco Cash, man. Shout out to CLT. CLT, I'm about to drop the link here in just a second, man. Hey, look, it makes perfect sense. We do not have a first round pick for next year. We gave up a lot of draft capital to move to the first round this year. Trade Brian Burns for a first round pick, maybe a second, a third, but he's going to demand a king's ransom for the Panthers to help the Panthers continue to build this team into what it needs to build. It makes a perfect sense because think about it, guys. We have a ton of cap space right now. If you haven't seen it, the Panthers are number 2 in the NFL in cap space. As of today, they're number 2 in the NFL right now of cap space. Look at the contracts that we have coming up. Derek Brown. Derek Brown is going to be coming up for a contract soon. You're going to have to pay Derek Brown. J.C. Horn. He's about a year or two away from being at a contract because this is his third year in the league. So you're going to have to pay him big money. He's up for a contract. You still have other holes on the team that you got to continue to fill. There's other holes that other areas of the team that you got to fill. Why not trade him right now for a king's ransom? He is Panther super fan. Brian Burns is definitely worth a king's ransom right now because he's young, he's productive. Brian Burns has not had a season where he's up under 9 sacks in a season. He's only 24, 25 years old. Teams will pay out the ass to get Brian Burns right now. If we made him available for trade, we would demand a first. I would get a first, a second, and a third for Brian Burns. Any team that wants to get him, at minimum, a first round is definitely guaranteed. But on top of that, I'm getting a second round as well. Listen, elite defensive ends are hard to come by in the NFL. They are very, very hard to come by in the NFL. Why do you think right now the Washington Commanders are in talks of trading Chase Young? Trading Chase Young because they know that they can get probably a first round pick for Chase Young. What did do? Jerome Castro in the building, man, what's good with it? I'm telling you, at minimum, we're going to get a first round, a first and a third, or a first and a second for Brian Burns because he's a young defensive end in his prime and he's productive. He is productive. He is very much a productive defensive end, so we can pretty much demand what we want for Brian Burns. I'm going to be honest with you. For a player like Brian Burns, because he's in his prime, he's young, and whoever team is going to get him is going to have a starting caliber DN for probably the next 6 to 7 years. I wouldn't rule out 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. I really would not rule out 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. I wouldn't rule that out. I wouldn't rule out us getting potentially 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. Y'all got to understand, defensive end outside of quarterback, defensive end is the most sought out position outside of quarterback in the NFL. Tell me that I'm lying. I want somebody right now to tell me that I'm lying. Defensive end is the most sought out position after quarterback in the NFL. So if you think teams are not going to pay the kind of money that we will want or give us what we want for Brian Burns, you guys are out your goddamn minds. I'm telling you right now. Brian Burns can demand at least 2 first-round picks. He can demand that. And if it's not 2 first-round picks, it's definitely a first round and 2 seconds. Sheesh, 2 first rounds. He doesn't. Panther Superfan, listen to me. Brian Burns right now, I'm about to pull it up. Brian Burns' age. I'm about to pull it up right now. Give me 2 seconds. Brian Burns is only 25 years old. Only 25. His production over his couple of years in the NFL, Brian Burns over his career last year he finished with 12.5 sacks. 12.5. Had 34 solo tackles. 34 solo tackles last season. Let me go to his career stats because I want to pull up the value that what we talking about for Brian Burns. Give me 1 second. Because he's gotten better progressively every single year. CLT in the building, man. CLT, what's good with it, bro?
What it do, family?
What it do? All right, so let me go over these numbers, man. Let me go over these numbers. Brian Burns. He got drafted in 2019. 2019. So in 2019, he had 7.5 sacks. 2020, he had 9 sacks. That was the COVID year. 2021, he's had 9 sacks. Last year, he had 12.5 sacks. He's gotten better every single year that he's been in the NFL at only 25 years of age. So if you think that we cannot get a king's ransom for a perennial defensive end in his prime, you got to be smoking that good dope. CLT, what's your thoughts, bro?
Uh, for one, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think we can get a first and a. I don't think we can get. I don't think we can get first, second, all that extra stuff because he only cracked double-digit sacks 1 year, especially coming off of. It might be a cleanup surgery, but it's still a surgery at that. And then you're gonna have to pay him a king's ransom as well. So I don't think that you're gonna get a first, 2 firsts, and all that extra stuff. So I think
I think
you
it'll be
probably
a
get.
first. You can get a first. I think you could get a first, a second, and a third for Brian Burns.
Yeah, I said first and a, but I don't think it's going to be two
Yeah,
first anymore. I think when we passed up on that first, 2 first rounds from Los Angeles,
right.
that was
Why did we
the break.
do that? CLT?
Maybe because at that point we was thinking the Rams was gonna have a better record than they was gonna have because they had the team. You know what I'm saying? They just had a bad year. Everybody ended up getting hurt up. You know what I'm saying? So we was thinking it'll be 2 late first round picks. And it wouldn't be in the same year. It would be like this year and then the next year. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of made sense to kind of turn it down.
Bro, they
At the time.
said they said that the Chicago Bears right now are willing to do whatever to get a perennial first round pick of defensive end.
Yeah,
Listen,
no,
even though with the Bears going to be much improved this year, they're still going to have a top. They're still going to have a top 15 pick next year.
right. So I
Like
think
I
I
see the.
think
Yeah, go ahead.
I, I, I think if the Bears are willing to do that, I mean, we'll be getting some of that stuff obviously back that we gave up. But at the same time, I want you to think about this:
Right.
if we trade Brian Burns, we do not win 9 or 10 games this year because we don't have no pass rush. Without any pass rush, you don't win 9 or 10 games. So you
Hey,
so
but
so
but what you do have though is you got cap space.
you.
You got
But I'm
cap
saying,
space where you can go get somebody.
Who's out there? Nobody's out
Yannick
there.
Ngakwe still haven't been signed.
He's not going to give you no fucking production like Brian Burns. And you
I can
definitely
see
got a
I can see Ngakwe in his like this year.
seven,
And
7, 8
again,
sacks.
yeah, 7 to 8 sacks. That's still
Yeah,
production. Yeah,
but
that's
I'm
still
saying,
production. If we can get, bro, I'm gonna keep it real. If we don't bring in another free agent outside of Brian Burns, we still are not gonna have a lot of pass rush, bro. Like we're
but
not gonna have a
that's
lot of practice because what teams are gonna do? They're just gonna double Brian Burns.
but that goes to my point. If without him, it's no pass rush. Without it's no pass rush at all. So you don't win 9, 10 games without any pass rush. So if we're going back to the last conversation that we had, is the season a letdown? The season's going to be a letdown without having Brian Burns on the team. You're gonna have to get Jadeveon Clowney and Igwagwe to even put up, mirror what we need to win 9, 10 games without
But
Brian
bro,
Burns.
you know what though? I still feel that even if you traded Brian Burns, I still feel like this defense is capable enough, bro. And with the assets that you bringing on, like what you think about what you're doing. If you can get a first round, let's say for example, if you can get a first round, a second and a third for Brian Burns, that is a king's fucking ransom, bro. Especially when you consider it. Remember, we do not have a first round pick next year. We don't.
Right,
We
I
don't.
agree that the capital, you know, makes sense. What you're saying, if we can get a first, second, and third, yeah, go ahead and trade them. But on the same token, man, don't be let down when we don't win 9, 10 games.
No, I no. Listen, listen again. I I still feel because this is what I think is going to happen, guys. This I'm going to tell everybody. I think the power is going to change from our defense to our offense this year. I feel like our offense is going to be better than our defense this year. Before it's always been that the defense has been better than the offense, but I think we're about to start seeing a new era here in Carolina where the offense is going to be much better than the defense. Now, can you get away without having great pass rush? You absolutely can. Well, I'm going to tell you, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't have premier defensive end. Frank Clark is serviceable. And oh, yeah, by the way, he's still out there in free agency. The Chiefs made it to several Super Bowls without having premier defensive ends. The Buffalo
I
Bills, before
it could
Von
be
Miller got hurt, and even before Von Miller, never had premier defensive ends. So what I'm saying is, pass rush is definitely important. But if the rest of the defense and your linebackers is elite, and you got elite defensive tackles like Brian Burns and Sha Tuttle, can we get away with having maybe a free agent or two at DN if we decided to trade away Brian Burns?
But like you just said, we don't have elite. We don't have elite linebacker core. Like you said before, we're suspect in the cornerback room. Once one player go down, you don't even like our second starting cornerback. So we don't have those pieces. We don't have that luxury. And also, when you compare the Chiefs, man, they defensive line came up big in big moments.
But that's
So
what I'm saying. But if you look at that line, though, you don't see nobody on that line that's just like a dog, except Chris Jones, the defensive tackle. Like Jones is the only person on that line that's a Pro Bowler. Like he's definitely a dog. But outside of that, you don't have no. They really don't have like premier defensive ends, bro. They
but
they
you
got
still
like
can't
George Karlaftis and somebody else.
you can't expect our offense to put up the points that Kansas City put up though. In the same token, yeah, we can be better, but we ain't gonna put up. We ain't in no shootout every game.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. The Carolina Panthers, man, really might need to think about and if at minimum, if I'm a Scott Fitterer, I'm trying to see what teams are willing to offer for Brian Burns trade. I'm at least seeing what teams are willing to offer for a trade because think about it, bro. Brian Burns is going to want to be the top paid defensive end in the league. Nick Bosa is about to get a contract. So Nick Bosa is probably they said Nick Bosa's deal is going to be done before training camp. So if Nick Bosa deal gets done before Brian Burns, what the hell you think that's going to mean? This is the NFL where every time a contract come up for a premier player, they want to be the highest paid at their position.
But Brian Burns know he can't get paid more than Nick Bosa.
I, what makes me think that he won't demand it?
But because he only had double digit sacks once in his career. What makes you Nick Bosa had
But he's been
double digit sacks?
consistent though, bro. That's the thing. It's like
Improvement, consistent improvement, but he's only been a Pro Bowler once. He only cracked double digit sacks once. Like he doesn't command the number one in the league. No fucking way.
consistency at the defensive end position, bro, is really all that you can ask for. If you got a DN, man, that can consistently get you 7 to 8 to 9 sacks a year, bro, that's a start. Those are starting caliber numbers. Like for real, those are starting caliber numbers. If a defensive end can get you 7 to 9 sacks a season, bro, that's exactly what Brian Burns has been doing. And
What
then
what, what
last
I
year he broke out for 12. So on this current trajectory, he's only 25 years old. He's only
what I'm saying
25.
is
So what makes me think that he's not going to get better?
no doubt that Brian Burns has been good. I'm not saying that he hasn't been good, but all I'm saying is he can't command number one across the league. Number one across the league, that's 25 million a year. He cannot command that. If we were to give him that, we would be fucking stupid.
I well, I think Brian Burns is going to get a huge contract. I think that contract is going to be huge, bro. I think that this is going to be a contract that's like somewhere. It's going to be a 4 year deal, maybe a 4 to 5 year deal, bro. Somewhere in that 115 range or something like that, 115, 120.
I mean, you got to think about it too, man. He can't even play the run. He can't play the run. Bosa can play the run.
So what do you think, Brian? What do you see as a realistic contract option for Brian Burns? I'm even gonna ask the chat. Chat, let's ask y'all. What is a
About
realistic contract for Brian Burns? What do
I would
everybody think is a realistic contract?
I would say 16, 17 a year.
16, 7. He not taking that, bro. He not taking those 16 to 17 a year. Like for real. He not taking those 16 to 17 a year. That's that he definitely not taking that. I'm asking the chat. Everybody in the chat, man, what do y'all think is a realistic contract number for Brian Burns? Let's see.
I bet you this. We give him 20 million a year. You're gonna be talking shit throughout the year.
So Sports Illustrated laid out what they think that a contract extension for Brian Burns will look like. They said Burns can assume will be the number one on the list of priorities. In fact, probably something two sides are already discussing. And according to the 33rd team, it will be one that makes Burns one of the highest paid defensive players in the league. An extension for Brian Burns, and again, I just told you, should surpass the 5 year, 110 deal that Bradley Chubb signed with the Dolphins, right? So Bradley Chubb signed a 110 million deal with the Dolphins. Brian Burns is definitely being just as productive, if not more productive than Bradley Chubb, right? And it wouldn't be. This is according to Sports Illustrated. It wouldn't be a surprise if it hovers around Myles Garrett's 25 million a year. Paying a player north of 20 million a year is a big commitment, but when it comes to Burns, it's a terrific value in my opinion. 100% worth every dollar. Through the first 4 years of his career, Burns has played through a number of minor injuries and has only missed 3 games. He stays on the field and he's been extremely productive, regardless of the defensive scheme or how much he has on the opposite side. To win consistently, you need to have a top 10 defense, and it all starts up front. There's a reason why we didn't move him. We met with his agent. We didn't get into details, really talk about him. So again, the world thinks that Brian Burns is going to have a contract around that 20 million a year. I told y'all that, bro. It's going to be that contract is going to be on the board of 110, 115 million a year. I mean 115 million total. He's going to have a bro. He's going to be paid. Brian Burns is going to be paid, bro, 20 20 to 23 million a season. Hands down. They're going to pay him that kind of money, CLT. Like I'm telling you, bro, Brian Burns is definitely going to be. He's going to be, if he's not the highest paid defensive end in the league, he's going to be at least number 2 or 3. without a
Bro,
question.
if they're saying that he should get 20-25, what you think Nick Bosa finna get? Probably
Yeah,
30.
bro, Bosa finna get the bag.
I don't see it, man. I wouldn't get that nigga no 25 million, bro, because he can't even play the run.
Bro, if right now, if Miles Garrett is getting 25 million a year, Miles Garrett is getting 25 million a year, what the hell you think that Nick Bosa is going to get? His contract is going to surpass Miles Garrett. Nigga, Nick Bosa might get somewhere at 26, 27 million a year. B Amos, what's good with it, man? What up with it? Appreciate it, man. Y'all already know what time it is, boy. Midday madness in the mix, man, with your host with the most. Big fucking waves in the building, man. Listen, I apologize to everybody, bro, not going live, man. I've been pushing these live backs. Look, life has just been kicking my ass, CLT, bro. I've been having graduations to go to, man. All different type of shit going on. It's the end of the school year, getting ready for the summer, man. My birthday just passed. Everything has just been going on, man, for your boy, man. But over these next couple of weeks, man, especially when July hit, man, I'm gonna have a lot more free time to do a lot of content creating, man. We're gonna get the streaming up, the games. I'm gonna be streaming live gaming on YouTube. So Tsunami Gaming is on the way. Tsunami Gaming is on the way, guys. I'm already in works, man, with my tech team to get everything set up. Tsunami Gaming is on the way. That's going to be a big part of this channel going forward. We will be streaming games. And I'm not, listen, I want to smoke with whoever want to smoke with me. We'll be playing for money. We'll be playing for this, that, and the third. Anybody can pull up to the channel, man, and get the smoke. We gonna be killing it, man. Also, the Madden cover dropped today. If you guys have not seen it, go to my community section of the channel, and the cover is there. Josh Allen made the cover of Madden this year. We're gonna get into that a little bit. Did he deserve it? Did he not deserve it? We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Those are all pro edge rushers. Burns has only made 2 Pro Bowls. He's great, but not elite. Morgan Moe, I understand it. But what you have to remember about this, and this is what I was trying to tell CLT, bro, defensive ends is the next most important position outside of quarterback. It's the number 2 position outside of quarterback. There's quarterback, then there's defensive ends. They're the next most perennial position outside of quarterback. So when you
You
talking
don't you
about,
don't you don't go
go
left
ahead.
tackle. You don't go
Huh?
left tackle. You don't go left tackle after quarterback.
No, I go DN, bro. Because defensive ends, defensive, it go to me, it go quarterback, DNs, then left tackles, then tackles. Those are the order of importance of positions, man. Defensive ends, I mean quarterbacks, DN, then tackles. That's how it goes. Because defensive end, if you have a premier defensive end, bro, you are set. You are set. Somebody that can pass rush a quarterback on a consistent basis, you are set. You are set with if you got that. So again, Brian Burns is going to be paid, bro. I'm telling you, north of 20 million a year. It's going to be Morgan Captain Mo talking about 16 and 18, bro. He will laugh at that shit. He will 100% laugh at that. If the Panthers offered him that kind of money, bro, he would fucking laugh at that, bro. He like literally, like he would literally laugh at that. If we paid him anything under or offered him anything under 21, 22 million, Brian Burns is not staying here in Carolina, man. Like I'm just keeping it 100%. He's not going to stay here in Carolina if we're offering him that kind of money. Like literally, he's not. Again, I see a contract, man. Again, I would not be surprised if Brian Burns is not in that 22 to 24 million range. That's where I see him probably ending up somewhere like that. And again, I wouldn't be surprised that if he's at that Myles Garrett's range, he ain't put up those Myles Garrett's numbers, but y'all know how the NFL is. It's a business. It's a business. Once one guy get locked up and get paid to a big contract, it's a domino effect after that. It's 100% a domino effect afterwards. All it takes is for one guy to get locked up, and then whoever else is up that's been productive doesn't mean that your numbers have to be super productive, but as long as you've been productive, you are going to get paid. You are going to get paid. That's just how the NFL works. That's just how it works. Right now, you just saw Lamar Jackson become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. You saw him become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. What kind of deal do you think Joe Burrow is going to get? And Lamar Jackson hasn't done nowhere near what Joe Burrow has accomplished in the first 3 years of his contract and the 3 years of his NFL career. So if Lamar was the highest paid player, what the hell you think Joe Burrow's about to get? Joe Burrow might be the first $300 million quarterback. That's just the nature of the business, man. So to all of the Panther fans that's out there that's sitting up here thinking that Brian Burns is not going to get anything north, bruh. That contract is going to be 22 to 24 million. I guarantee it. And I would not be surprised if it surpasses 25 or if he's at 25 or higher. I would not be surprised. I said somewhere in that range of 110 to 115 is probably what Brian Burns is going to be at, bro.
How much?
Without a
How much
doubt.
is? How much is Chubb getting per year?
20 million max. I don't know about that, Captain. Nick Chubb is getting, I mean, Bradley Chubb. Let's see. So he signed a 5 year 110. So let's see. So Chubb getting 22 million a year. So come on, bro. You already know Brian Burns shit finna be like 25. That's what I'm saying. Trade that man right now. That contract is going to be, that shit is going to be ridiculous, bro. He is going to be eating up that motherfucking cap space for years. And you know it's going to be a 4 to 5 year contract. 25 million a year. That bro, that he is going to be a cap, bro. He's going to be tearing our cap up. When right now you can draft another, you can bring in a king's ransom for him and draft you another defensive end, let him play on a rookie contract for the next 5 years. And hey, you do what you got to do. You do what you fucking got to do. Trade Brian Burns, man. I would trade him. I love the player. I love his production. But think about the money that we're going to have to pay out to him. It is going to be astronomical. Astronomical. I'm not saying that he's not deserving of it. I think that Brian Burns is definitely deserving of the cash. But again, 25 mil. When you got Derek Brown, who's going to be up for a contract, if he continues to play at the level that he's been playing at, you can see Derek Brown potentially demanding a lot of money. If Derek Brown goes out this season and balls like he did this past year, bro, I'm telling you, I am fucking telling you, if Derek Brown goes out and balls the way he did this past year, and you start to see him extend, you're gonna have to pay Derek Brown, bro, here in the next 2 years. JC Horn gonna be up for a contract in 2 years. So there's guys on our defense that you're gonna have to pay. So giving Brian Burns 25 million right now a year is absolutely crazy. Carl, we got Carl D in the building, man. Carl D, what's up with
What's
it, man?
what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
How you living, brother?
All right, all right. So we talking about Brian. Oh, you talking about Brian Burns today?
Yeah, should we trade Brian Burns, man, or pay him the big money?
I heard that. I don't know if you went over this yet because I just coming in, but I heard about Chicago still interested in him. I heard they trying to give up a first
Yes.
round pick.
Yes.
Well, still a couple of some multiple picks. I don't know what the other picks are, but I know they
I
trying
heard
to
a
get first.
first, a second, and a third for Brian Burns.
Let's get them. Yeah, let's take it because let's look at this. Since 2019, last year was the first time Brian even got double digit sacks.
Talk that shit, Carl D.
I mean, has he? I mean, how big of a difference has Brian really been on the defense?
And-
I mean, if you go back and look at some of the plays, it's been many times he's had a chance to. He's been in the backfield, but for some reason he ain't been able to get that sack. I don't know. I say we take that, get our first round pick back for next year,
right.
and and if nobody step up, um, we can use that first round pick and try to get try to get a pass, one of the best pass rushers out of that draft class next year.
Thank
Try it again.
you. Thank you.
But
That's the hey Carl, man. Carl man. Shout out to Carl, man. Make sure y'all go and check him out, man, on Real Panther AD&D. Y'all check him out over there on his channel. Hey, listen, he just hit the nail on the coffin for me, man. And Morgan Captain Mo, man, I don't understand why you keep saying this, man. He said, which is why his production doesn't equal highest paid edge money. Listen, we know that the production and value don't never match. In today's NFL, you don't have to have astronomical production to get astronomical pay. You don't. You don't, bruh. I just gave you an example. Lamar Jackson became the highest paid quarterback in the NFL and has never even been to an AFC championship. Production doesn't never have to match value in the NFL today. So
well,
what
you can
teams are
argue
gonna
Lamar
look
had the
at,
personal production.
go ahead, CLT.
I was saying you can argue Lamar had the personal production winning the MVP.
I mean, yeah, he won the MVP, but over the last 2 seasons, he's been hurt.
That's
but
true.
but but but
But we can say Lamar definitely deserved to be number one. I feel like
I don't think he
because
deserved to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
every
I don't
year,
think that. I think that he
every,
deserved to be one of the highest paid, but
I feel like
not
he
the
deserved to be.
highest paid.
I feel like he deserves to be highest paid because every year is going to get the market's going to get reset. All he did was
That's the
reset it for a
point that
year.
I'm trying to make to you.
No, well, you forget my whole point. I'm saying Brian Burns, yes, deserves to be traded, but I'm saying if we were to pay him that amount of money, we're stupid. So
But that
yeah,
we
that's
are
what.
going to pay him that though. That's
But
what I'm
but
telling
let,
you.
let
If he stays, they're going to pay him that.
yeah, let
yeah.
somebody else let somebody else pay him that. But
Exactly.
do you see a Will Anderson coming out next year? I don't.
Well, we gotta wait till the college season start up, man. I mean, there's some guys right now that they got a lot of potential, man. But I can't sit up here. No, do I see a Will Anderson as of today? I don't see a Will Anderson as of today. But that doesn't mean that you can't get a quality defensive end out of the upcoming draft. And even if you don't want to draft a defensive end, bruh, shit, go to the next, bruh. What you mean? Bro, the Carolina Panthers right now have the second highest, bro. Spend money. Go get you a Clowney. Go get you a Ngakwe. Sign some veteran guys until you can get the draft, until you can draft you a long-term defensive end. Basically,
Mhm.
what I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying to you right now, a CLT is that this. Why pay a guy? And I know that if he stays here, which I think the Panthers are going to pay Brian Burns, I don't see them trading him. But why pay him 25 to 26 million a year to Carl Point, a guy who's only had been in the league now for 4 years and only had 1 year over double digit sacks, and on top of that, you got other guys that are going to be up for contracts here really, really soon on that
But
defensive side of the ball. J.C. Horn
uh,
is going to be eligible for an extension after this season. Derek Brown is going to be eligible for an extension after this season. Yeah, they probably going to use the 5th year tags on these guys, but you're talking about in the next 2 years, you're going to be having to pay them big money too.
I agree that he needs that I would trade him, no doubt. But all we're disagreeing is if the Panthers should pay him. I don't believe we should pay him that amount of money. Also, I don't think the Bears gonna trade it. Well, we will trade the Bears because the Bears wanted Brian Burns inside of the trade for Bryce. I mean, it's for the first round pick, and we told him no.
But a report came out there still that they still are willing to trade for him if the Panthers are willing to trade.
So I said the Panthers are not willing to trade him because they wanted him in the confidential. They wanted him in inside the first round draft pick trade. That's when they moved to DJ Moore.
Yeah. yeah, but you gotta look the also at that time the Panthers didn't give up a future first round pick
Right.
at that time too. So
There
I'm
you
sure the
go.
Yeah,
Panthers are
yeah, we,
seriously
yeah,
thinking about
yeah, we,
getting a
yeah, we
pick,
did.
getting a pick back.
That was in the same trade. That's what they wanted inside of the trade. They wanted Brian Burns and a first. We told them we wouldn't give them Brian Burns. We gave up DJ in the first. That's all inside of the same trade package.
Yeah, yeah, but if Ezro is who we think he is, if he can get this defense anywhere near what he did with Denver defense, who didn't even really have a star
Yeah, because they
defensive
traded Chubb.
player last year, and look how they will and look how they was in the rankings, then then I would then I would trade get my first round pick back. I would trade Burns, get them extra picks, and I would hope one of the young guys can step up. If not, hey, go in the draft next year and get one. Try it again.
That it will be my mindset, man, because you got to remember Broncos had a top 5 defense last year without a premier defensive end. They did not have a defensive
Yeah.
end to because they traded Bradley Chubb, man, like literally in the middle of the season to the Miami Dolphins, right? And you know why they traded him? Because it was the
Uh,
same situation that we got with Brian Burns. He was up for a big
yep.
contract. He was up for a big contract, and the Broncos realized where they were at. They weren't trying to commit that much money to him. So what did they get? They got a first round pick, and guess what? They had 2 first round picks last year.
Yep.
So they got a future. They got a first round pick for him in the trade. So basically, Denver did exactly what the Panthers should do. Because again, bro, and this is the thing. And what I was trying to make, the point that I'm trying to make to him is that, man, listen, we would be able to get a good return on Brian Burns because of his age and his production, right? It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. Like people think that you got to have 15 sacks a season, bro, to be paid like the top defensive end. No, if you can consistently get 7, 8, 9 sacks a year, bro, they're gonna throw the bag at you.
Mm-mm.
They're gonna throw the bag at you, bro. Morgan, we were terrible last season. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We're terrible last season. He said that because the Broncos were terrible. No, we are terrible too. We were terrible last
Yeah.
season.
Exactly.
So that's not no excuse. What are, you saying it like because the Broncos were terrible? No, they were just in the same situation that we're in. They had a star defensive end who wanted to be paid as the highest paid defensive end in the league. And guess what? Instead of sitting there trying to go through a contract battle or get a deal done, what did they do? They traded him for future assets. Man, I'm telling you, for right now, for Brian Burns, we can get a first round pick at minimum in the second, a first and the second at minimum. That's giving us back what we lost in the Bryce Young trade, which really means that if you get that, you pretty much got your franchise quarterback for free.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Right. So if you're able to give back what you gave away for the trade up to number one, you basically landed a future first round quarterback for free. Because think about it, Brian Burns, I'm
Second
telling
window.
y'all, at minimum CLT, he's going to want 22, 23 a season. Bradley Chubb is getting 22, so you know that Brian Burns is getting more than that.
Yeah, man, I would trade him. I don't disagree on trading him. I definitely agree on trading him. I just would not give him that amount of money. So I'm definitely en route to trade him. I'm just saying we're not winning 9 to 10 games without Brian Burns.
I'm not going to say
Um.
that, man. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not gonna say that we won't win 9 to 10 games because I think the Panthers, if they did trade Brian Burns, they would go get at least a free agent, you know what I'm saying, some free agent defensive ends, one or two to bring in, man, just to be serviceable. And then again, when you switch to a 3-4 defense, man, majority of your pressure is gonna come from linebacker blitzes anyway. Like
Mhm.
really. I'm not gonna say that we're not gonna win 9 or 10 games without Brian Burns. I think our defense will definitely take a hit. But honestly, you got to remember, even with Brian Burns, the defense only finished 19th last year, and that's with him. That's with Brian Burns. You only had the defense was only 19th. That's in the middle of the pack. 19th was the middle of the pack defense with Brian Burns. So it wasn't like he was making like a significant difference on our defense, bro. Like it'd be different if Brian Burns was giving me like 15 sacks and he was giving me like uh uh what's my man name out there? We were just talking about Bosa type of production. I would say
Mm.
hell no. I would say hell no, you don't trade him. But man, he gave us 12 last year. That's great numbers, but is it going to be worth the contract that the Panthers go pay him? I don't think so, Carl.
Uh, I have okay. Here's two things that the chat and the Panther fans need to think about. One is if you look at what Brian Burns probably going to ask, he's going to first of all, if it's what I heard is right that they're far away from reaching an agreement. If Brian Burns going to be asking for a Nick Bosa or even a Bradley Chubb type money, is he really worth that? I don't think so. And we need to spend money like that on somebody who took how many years? 4 years just to finally get into double digit sacks, and then the double digit sacks was at the low end as far
Of
as
the
ranking
season.
wise,
Yep.
in the whole NFL. So really, does Brian Burns make that big of a difference? And two, if we do trade Brian Burns, that's gonna be extra money saved in our salary cap. So then we can go.
Exactly.
So then we can go out in free agency and get one of those past edge rushers that's still out there. Plug with the veteran present, plug them in. I think I think you get one of them and plug them in. We ain't gonna skip a beat. We're gonna be right back where we was at when we had Brian Burns before we traded him. So I don't think he's
Omar,
gonna
pull up to
be.
the channel, Omar. I got to get your opinion on this. If you can, brother. You might be at work or whatever, but if you can, pull up to the channel, Omar.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think Brian Burns is gonna make too much of a difference. Rather, what our record's gonna be. I trust Evero. I trust Dom Capers. We got some this talented coaching staff. I think we can. I trust them to be able to put our because we got talent on defense. I trust them to put our players in right positions to make this defense successful, even without Brian Burns. I say trade him, get your first round pick back.
Yeah, listen, I look, and again, man, I think that we got to look at this thing holistically, right? Like that's what we got to look at this, right? So again, take out your mind. We know what kind of player that Brian Burns is. He's a solid
Yeah.
defensive end. He one of the top D ends in the league. I'll definitely give him credit for that. But think about what situation the Panthers are in right now. We just got out of pretty much cap hell. Scott Fitterer has done a great job over the last 2 to 3 years to get the Panthers in the positive when they're talking about cap space. I can't remember the last time we went into a season, man, with almost 30 million in cap space.
Yeah, it's
I,
been a while.
I can't remember that. So first, let me give a special shout out to Scott Fitterer and the job that he's done with getting this cap space under control, right? But we have a defensive end that is going to demand big money, right? I
Yeah.
don't know if a deal gets done before the season starts, before training camp. This shit may drag out. I don't know. I hope that the Panthers are, if they can get a deal done, I hope it's a deal that's not going to handicap the Panthers cap situation going forward. But think about it, guys. Derek Brown is an ascending defensive tackle. He's going to be eligible for an extension here within these next 2 years. J.C. Horn, we know that he's a top corner in this league when he's healthy. He's going to be eligible for a contract here in the next 2 years. So the point that I'm trying to make to you guys is that there's other guys that have to be paid. You still need to add more weapons on the offensive side of the ball because DJ
Mhm.
Jeremy
Shark is
Chin
only
coming up
here
as well.
for, huh?
Jeremy
Jeremy
Chin coming
Chin,
up as
yeah,
well.
Jeremy Chin is going to be up for a contract as well. So you have a lot of big contracts that you're going to be potentially pay. I'm not going to lie. If the Panthers keep all of these cores in place, You're talking about a very expensive defense coming here in the next 3 to 4 years. You're going to have guys on this defense, potentially a corner that's going to be making 15 to 16 a year, a safety that could be making 17 to 18 million a year, a defensive end that's going to be making 20 plus million a year, and a defensive tackle who could be making somewhere in between 17 and 16 million a year. That's
Yep.
a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
That's a lot of cash on the defensive side of the ball here in the next 4 years for Carolina Panthers. And think about it. You also have a franchise quarterback who, if he plays up to his draft status, you're gonna have to get a deal done with him in the next 4 years. So looking at this shit holistically, I'm saying to myself right now, why the iron is hot, why the pot is hot, man, you cook this some shit up. You get Brian Burns up out of here. Because paying him, okay, I'm gonna give y'all a prime example. Let's say we pay him 23 million a season, which
I
is
say that
not it's not going to be nothing lower than that, Carl.
that's still a lot to me. That's still a lot for.
That's
That's
a ton. That's a ton.
yeah.
But it's not going to be anything lower than that. I don't care. Nobody can convince me otherwise. If Bradley Chubb is getting 22 million a year, there's no way in hell that Brian Burns is taking less than that. He's not going to take less than that, bro. Brian Burns is going to be north of 22. He's going to be in that range of 22 to 25 million a year. Hands down. Because guess what? If the Panthers don't pay him, somebody else will pay him that kind of money.
Yep.
So before it even gets to that situation, Scott Fitterer needs to be on the phone to figure out the max value that he can get for a Brian Burns trade. Because honestly, Brian Burns could have been locked up last year. They could have got a contract done with him last year. So now you're talking about we're sitting in June, in the middle of OTAs, training camp start here in a couple of weeks, and there's still no deal done with Brian Burns. You don't want to go into this season, man, with a contract dispute with a defensive end. You don't want to go into the season with a contract dispute going on with Brian Burns. So right now, Scott Fitterer should be on the phone trying to figure out what he can get for Brian Burns. I'm sorry. That's Carl. Let me know if I'm lying.
To me, yeah, that's true. And this is the best. If we're gonna trade Brian Burns, this is the best time to trade him and get good value for him. Because we wait to like say um the trade deadline or the end of the season, we're not going to get any better value out of him than we do now. Because for one, if we don't get a deal done with him, teams going to be like, well, you teams are going to basically get bluff us. They're gonna be like, okay, we're going to try to sign him. We're going to try to, if he become a free agent, we're going to try to sign this dude to a what's that, an offer sheet, and we dare you to match it.
Exactly.
So
If we
why
if
should
we
we
trade
even? Yeah. So why should we
if we trade
even?
him, we need to trade him before a down of the season is played.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah. So if we're gonna trade him, this is the best time to do it. Do it now, like you said, while the iron is hot. Do it
Right.
now.
I would definitely go ahead, man, and get him up out of here, man. I want to know what the people in the comments think, man. What are y'all thoughts on this, man? Is Brian Burns, does it really make sense? We have laid out to you guys the pros and cons of a Brian Burns trade. Yes, our defense may take a potential hit this season, but I'm looking at it like this too. Our defense wasn't even that great with him. We ranked 19 out of 32 teams last year. That's middle of the pack. And that was with him having a 12, having basically his career season. Last year was his career season, and we still finished middle of the pack. So I don't see. I mean, again, I don't see him making a tremendous difference on this defense. Now, if he was giving us Nick Bosa type numbers, 15 plus sacks a season,
Yeah,
is no way in hell you trade him.
that's right.
There's no way in hell you trade him, man. But again, I don't think that Brian Burns makes the impact on our defense as everybody thinks. And again, I'm giving you guys the numbers. We were 19th, and then even in sacks last year, I still think we finished low in sacks last season. Like let me see where the Panthers finished in total sacks last season. Uh, let me see.
Oh yeah. While you doing that, I want to answer. What's his name? Morgan. Morgan, you said there's no free agents out there that's better than Burns. I mean, what's his name? How you pronounce his name with the
Ngakwe.
word? Yeah, I mean, if you look at his production compared to Brian Burns the last couple of years, I don't really see a difference. Except for last year, what Burns got 12 and he got what 9.5. Before last year, he was putting up numbers that was the same or that was either equal or more than Brian Burns. So I mean, I don't know what that. I don't know. I don't understand what you mean by that. Ain't no.
Bruh,
Yeah.
we only had 35 sacks last season. That ranks we are hold up. 20, 30 seconds, 31st, 30, 29, 28, 26. We was 27th in the league last year in sacks.
Mm.
27th. 27th in the
Wow.
league in sacks last year.
Ouch.
And that's in Brian Burns and that's in his career season. 27th in the league in sacks last year still. So again, I make it make sense for me. Like again, make it make sense. At minimum, right now, Scott Fitterer should be on the phone trying to figure out what we can get for Brian Burns right now, bro. It's more cons to me than keeping him than it is to get rid of him right now. The Chicago Bears would definitely give us back our draft picks, bro, for for Brian Burns right now. And honestly,
Yeah.
I think that we can really demand a lot for Brian Burns. Any team that really wants to get him, it's a first and a second, hands down. A first and
Mm-hmm.
a second. A first and a second minimum. And honestly, you might have to tie like a fourth and a fifth to that or two. Like honestly, you might have to tie because again, we're talking about a premier defensive edge rusher in his prime. This is what you're talking about. That those don't come available like that. They don't come available like that. So you can get a lot for Brian Burns right now, fellas. That's all that I'm saying, man. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not listen, I'm not here to talk about, what makes what's right and what's wrong. I get what everybody how they feel about Brian Burns. I feel like he's a great player. And will our defense take somewhat of a hit this year? Absolutely. But honestly, man, this defense gonna have to show me something this year. Even if Brian Burns stays, this defense got to be better up under Gyro, man. I think the offense is going to be better than the defense this year. I really do. I think that the offense is going to be a lot better than the D. I really believe that this year. I think our offense is going to play a lot better than our defense. I can see our defense probably finishing like a great year will be a top 15 defense, but I'm going to put them, man, somewhere in the middle of that, man, somewhere in between 15 and 20. Like I feel like
Ooh.
that's where they're going to be.
What was that ranking last year of total defense? I thought it was.
19.
I thought it was up there. It was 19. Is that total
Yeah, it was
defense?
nine. Yeah, that was total defense. They were 19th
Okay.
in total defense last year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's I mean that's how I feel about it, man. We're getting into that time of the year, fellas, where things are starting to get kicked back up. OTAs, man. Bryce Young has continued to look good at OTAs. Um, some of the stories, just to kind of talk about that, man, out of OTAs is obviously, man. I don't know, y'all seen the Panthers. They had the quarterbacks in the black jerseys yesterday. They looked really damn good, man. Um, And also, it was one other thing. J.C. Horn, man, it came out about J.C. Horn. He had some comments to say, and they asked about him, and I want to get y'all thoughts on that. This article, man, this was here by Pro Football Focus. It said Panthers quarterback J.C. Horn has finished both of the NFL seasons on injured reserve, and that's led to some people calling him injury prone this offseason. Horn has heard such comments, but says that none of that stuff ever bothered me because of the nature of the injuries. Horn broke bones in his foot as a rookie before breaking his wrist near the end of last season. And he said breaking his wrist near the end of last season, he can't control that. The way one can work to avoid soft tissue injuries or other ailments that come with poor conditioning. Obviously, I can't control. These was his words. He said, "Obviously, I can't control some of the injuries I had. That's nobody's fault here or there." Horn said. Uh, Joe Pearson of the Athletic said, "Horn, I've got to be available, be on the field, and goals like that. That stuff will take care of itself with playing good football. We play a dangerous sport. I just had bad luck those first 2 years, so hopefully I can stay on the field this next year." How do y'all feel about that, man? Coming from J.C. Horn, man, and what are y'all thoughts on Horn of ability to stay available this year?
Well, that I mean that harpens back to my saying about we should get. I mean, we should trade Burns by the iron is hot and get our first round pick because not only by having the first round pick does they give you flexibility to be that either replace Burns if nobody steps up, none of these young guys steps up, but looking at Horn's injury history, dare I say, we can go in the draft and get another top cornerback, just in case.
Right,
And
right.
and
I
that
think we
way,
should do that anyway.
yeah,
Absurd,
and that way
stupid,
that'll
man.
get rid of we won't have to worry too much about what's the other corner Jackson that gets hurt all the time. We can get a top corner that can at least replace
Right,
Jackson. So I
right,
mean, the flexibility
exactly.
is there with the trading of Burns, but I hope Horn's look. I heard that Horn is looking good in the OTA. I hope he stay healthy though, because he's so talented, and you see it. I don't know. The injury bug has been a seemed to been bad luck on him, but I hope he can be
Yeah,
healthy.
definitely, definitely. CLT, man, what's your thoughts on it, man? Do you think that JC Horn, man, will stay healthy this year and stay on the field and get back to where he needs to be?
Definitely, we had this conversation around that, man. I think, like I said before, those two accidents he had was completely uncontrollable. He's been where he's supposed to be each time. One of the position, your position to tackle somebody helping you. The other one, you just basically you punch your foot wrong. You wasn't even jumping or nothing. You just running. You know what I'm saying? Those are freak accidents, man. But on the field, he's been productive. I think this year he'll go without any injuries, any major injuries. He might have like a 1-2 game sit out, but I think he'll be on the field for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna say this about JC Horn. Um, no doubt that when he's healthy and on the field, he's one of the best corners in the NFL. Actually, man, he was ranked in the rankings that came out. Uh, J.C. Horn was ranked in the top 10 corners in the NFL, man. Uh, Football Focus lead analyst list released his cornerback rankings headed to the 22-3 campaign. In at number 9 is Brian Burns. He said Horn's NFL career is still less than 1,000 snaps old, but in 2 years, he has allowed just one touchdown and 318 yards in total. He's currently giving up just a 48.4 passer rating when targeted in the NFL. In year 3 is when we should get a better idea of how good Horn can be at this level, but there's been flashes of brilliance. The brilliance has been hampered by numerous of setbacks, a foot fracture, a rib strain, and a broken wrist to be exact. He's played in just 16 of a possible 33 games to start his pro career. Nevertheless, what we saw out of that 16-game career has been highly impressive. So it seems like the only thing stopping Horn from switching up is Horn himself, right? Shout out to Serge, man. He says, I'm saying if you buy a car and I can't drive it for 2 years, do I really have a car? And that's going to lead to my point, right? Uh, so we know that he's a hell of a corner. We know what he can be. Um, but the thing about it is he has to stay healthy this season, Carl. Like I mean, I if anybody on this team needs to have a full healthy season, it got to be JC Horn. Um, and why I'm saying that, man, is because again, some people might not like the conversation of draft stock, and that may not mean a lot for some people, but for me, it means everything, right? Because if we draft you in the top 10, the expectation is that you're going to come in and be a franchise building player for years to come, right?
Yep. Hmm.
And only playing 16 games out of 33, that's not a good sign, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good sign. And you can say that the injuries were freak injuries. You can say that they were accidents. I get all of that. I understand. But that's the nature of the NFL, right? Like accident or not, I'm pretty sure 90% of the injuries in the NFL are accidents, right? Like
Yes.
I don't think nobody goes out there with the intention of trying to necessarily just hurt somebody for whatever reason, right? It might be a 10%, but a 90% of the NFL is 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 accidental injuries. The point is that there's still injuries. I don't I need to see him play a full season this year. And if he does not, man, I think that we as Panther fans should be very, very worried about the future of JC Horn, right? Listen, again, the numbers speak for itself. When he's on the field, he's dominant. But when he's off the field and when he's not playing, he does the Carolina Panthers no good, right? So he got to stay healthy this year. That's my only thing. And if he doesn't play a full season this year, man, we got to start being worried. We got to start getting worried, man. We got to start trying to figure out, like what's going on. You know what I mean? Like we need to start figuring out what's up because again, man, we took him in the first round. We took him in the top 10 and only
Hmm.
playing 16 games out of 33, man. That's that's not good. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not ready to call him an injury bust yet, but if he doesn't give me a full season this year, man, and I'll give him one game to miss. Like, that's just off of something like if he's sore or something like that, I'll give him one game to miss. But if he missed more than one game this season, yeah, I think it might be. I think you have no choice but to give him that label. You don't have any choice. So that's kind of where I'm at with everything, man. But man, we gonna go ahead, Carl, man. If you don't got anything else, man, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down today because we will be back live tomorrow. Make sure y'all pull up to the channel, man. We got another special episode of Waves Meets where I will be teaming up, man, with Uncle Quan. Man, if y'all haven't already, man, make sure y'all go and follow his channel, man. The Panther Experience with Uncle Quan. Great content creator, man. He
Oh,
brings a ton of
okay.
energy. Yeah. He brings a ton of energy, man. And we gonna be linking up tomorrow for a special midday madness. Y'all don't want to miss it. It's gonna go crazy. Make sure you pull up to the channel, man. And listen, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Listen, we need to get this channel to 1,000 subs. Y'all help me do it, man. Y'all help me do it. Keep pushing the content out. Like the videos, man. Share the videos. Whatever y'all got to do, keep making sure y'all support this channel, man, so we can keep bringing y'all content, keep growing it as well. Also, Discord is out there, man. Anybody that need the link to the Discord, man, let me know. I'm not going to post a link to the Discord again. I probably will. Well, I'm not going to say I won't post it again, but if I do post it, it'll probably be on a live stream. But I posted in the community one time already. You guys can go scroll through the community post, man, and find the link if you really want to join the Discord. I recommend everybody that's a surfer to join the Discord, man, because they get lit in there. Also, follow me on Twitter, man, at Waves Podcast on Twitter. At Waves Podcast on Twitter. That's also a great way for y'all to reach out to me, man. If anybody has any questions or just want to talk football, let me know. But Carl D, appreciate you for coming up to the show as always, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
No
So
problem. I like.
and
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, I like chopping it up with you guys because y'all be. Yeah, because I mean, it's different. Your shows are different, but it's good. It's great. It's good material.
awesome, man. I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate it. Serge, I got you, man. Definitely go send you the link to it. But until next time, everybody, life is just a wave, baby, man. Y'all be easy.
All right.